And we are back with segment number 2 of the Cummins Real Estate Group show with local realtor rock star Michele Cummins and myself, Curtis Pope. Now, of course, Michele, I know you are world famous for your incredible introductions when we have guests, and I know you won't disappoint. I know you have one ready again.
I do, and because this gentleman is inspiring and he's really good at what he does. I've known him for a while now. He's helped multiple clients do conveyancing for my clients and give them advice. And his name is Ishpreet Rai. We did a slight introduction in the first segment, but I am so happy. Ishpreet, thank you for coming on. But before I give the floor to you, and I have a lot of questions for you, but I wanted to let people know who you are. So Ishpreet is an associate with our local RDM Lawyers, practicing in the area of corporate and real estate law, and assists individuals and companies on a range of corporate and commercial matters. He regularly advises individuals and companies on the purchase, sale, and development of residential and commercial real estate. And Ishpreet also advises entrepreneurs and companies on the formation, operation, growth, and sale of their business, and seeks to provide practical and cost-effective advice for his clients. After completing his undergraduate degree with honors at the University of the Fraser Valley, Ishpreet attended the University of Alberta for law school and graduated in 2018. He completed his articles at RDM Lawyers and was called to the bar in 2019. Born and raised in Abbotsford, Ishpreet is pleased to be practicing law in his hometown. Out of the office, he enjoys spending time with friends and family and traveling. Ishpreet serves clients in both English and Punjabi. Ishpreet, thank you for coming on to our show.
Hi, Michele. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. And I want to just thank you. I really appreciate how quick you have been getting back to clients, getting back to me. You're really efficient, but you're also always there to help. And I really appreciate that about you and your smarts and your wisdom, and thank you for that.
Yeah, no problem. I also appreciate all the referrals, and I always like to give back in any way I can to referral sources as well as my clients.
You know, there's a lot of different questions that I get actually quite a lot from my clients that don't understand things like, as a seller and or as a buyer, sometimes they think just one lawyer can do both. And the fact of the matter is, no, each party to the transaction needs to have their own conveyancing lawyer. And so that alone is really good, important information for people to know. But there's something about your company that you offer, and I believe you had mentioned to me, is it true that you're the only ones that locally right now that you know of have this way of online, due to the pandemic and the scare of Omicron and everything that's going on? Some people just don't want to leave their house. They can't travel in weather where it's icy and dangerous, where you have a legal way of signing.
Yeah, so we're one of the very few firms, I believe, in the area that offers virtual signings. So typically, when a client has to sign closing documents in a real estate transaction, they have to be witnessed in the presence of a lawyer or a notary. But because of the COVID-19 pandemic, there's been certain measures implemented by the Law Society that permits virtual signings to happen. And so because of COVID-19, sometimes clients, they're not able to meet with their lawyer or notary because of circumstances where it's not possible or where it's not medically safe. So in those cases, we do offer a virtual signing service for clients where we're able to meet with them using a video conferencing software that we use. And essentially, that software, we're able to review and sign closing documents as well as verify identity and things like that.
That's a great service to provide, absolutely. And I have a few other questions for you. I'm sure Curtis has a couple too. But first, actually, RDM Lawyers, can you actually begin by telling us all about your practice and your firm?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm an associate at RDM Lawyers. We're a full-service law firm. We're based in Abbotsford, but we service clients all over the Lower Mainland and BC. Last year, we've been in the community for a really long time. Last year, we actually celebrated our 50th year in business. We have a long-standing reputation in the community. As far as myself, I was born and raised in Abbotsford, and I still live here, and so I also have a long-standing connection to the community. I attended University of the Fraser Valley for my undergrad, and then I went to law school at the University of Alberta. And then after law school, I was fortunate enough to be able to return back home to begin my legal career. As far as the firm, we're full service. We have both solicitor lawyers here as well as litigation lawyers. The lawyers here practice in pretty much every area of law that you can think of. So one big advantage of that is we're able to handle a lot of different legal issues for our clients. We can keep all of that stuff in-house.
Okay, so further to that, can you tell us about the role that a lawyer plays in the real estate transaction? Because a lot of clients don't understand what is conveyancing, why do I need to hire a lawyer, and what do they do?
Yeah, definitely. So in the vast majority of residential real estate transactions, they involve real estate agents. And so the lawyer or a notary typically is asked to provide legal services in connection with the closing or completion of the transaction, which is known as the conveyance process. And very high level, that's essentially the process of transferring title to the buyer and exchanging funds. So the vast majority of transactions, the lawyers, their scope of engagement is limited to handling completion. But really, it can vary from transaction to transaction because, oftentimes for me, I'm engaged at the beginning of the process with respect to conducting certain due diligence on a property for a client or even drafting a contract. So it does vary. And then, as far as the role a lawyer plays above closing, I essentially view my role as primarily as a guide to my clients, because I recognize that any real estate transaction is going to be a big deal, and most often it's the most important transaction a lot of people are going to make in their life. So I really pride myself on being able to provide cost-effective and practical advice to my clients and try to guide them through what's often a very complex process, which at the end of the day makes the process a little bit less stressful for them.
And at what stage do you recommend someone reach out to a lawyer, in their real estate transaction?
I usually tell clients the earlier the better, just because buying or selling property, it's a big deal and it takes a lot of careful planning. Just for example, some examples I can give just off the top of my head is if a client has plans to develop a property that they have their eyes on, you'll definitely want to have a lawyer take a look into the municipality zoning for the property, as well as review the title to see what type of legal charges are registered against there. These are just two things that can have a major impact on someone's development plans. Another example, if the property is tenanted, it's really important for clients to be advised about what the procedure is if they plan to occupy that property once the deal completes. Just two examples of why it's important to have a team of knowledgeable professionals by your side. The earlier the better, who can guide you through the process.
And then what makes your firm unique for real estate transactions?
As I mentioned, I think we do utilize the newest technology as far as the virtual signings, and another big advantage I think our firm has is because we're full service. Our team consists of both solicitor and litigation lawyers, and so for a real estate transaction, the client benefits from the collective knowledge and experience of the whole team. for example, like if a real estate transaction doesn't go as planned, we can develop a strategy to protect the client's interest really quickly, which at the end of the day saves the client a lot of time, money, and stress, because we're able to handle all of that in-house, and the client doesn't need to worry about now finding a new lawyer who can help them.
That's so true. What's your expectations for this year as far as transactions and conveyancing? What do you think is going to happen?
I think it's going to stay busy. I mean, 2021 was obviously a record-breaking year, but it's still a seller's market, and there are still a lot of transactions completing. I think it's going to stay busy, I think there are going to be changes coming through the pipeline, but not for the next little while, I don't think.
And talking about, supply and demand and how busy it is, I've got a brand new project coming out. It's called Ledgeview Row Homes, and it's at ledgeviewhomes.ca. Anybody register there who's looking for a beautiful row home in East Abbotsford. It's off McKee. It's right adjacent to the Ledgeview tree farm, and right across the street and up a little bit from the Ledgeview Golf Course. And it's gorgeous, and we're going to release prices after the 17th of this month, and we're going live with the pre-sales at the end of this month. So if anybody's looking for a gorgeous, brand-new row home, the estimated date will be about a year from now. And keep an eye out there and register at ledgeviewhomes.ca.